Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're opening a very interesting door. We're going inside one of the most symbolic and I guess most guarded rooms in American government, the White House kitchen.
And the first thing you have to do, you really have to, is just ditch this image of a luxury restaurant.
Right, like a high-end Michelin star kind of place.
Exactly. Our research makes it really clear that this kitchen it's much less about culinary art and way more about being well, a kind of state intelligence organism.
A state intelligence organism, I like that. And that's really the core idea we're going to be working from for this deep dive.
Right.
We want to unpack how food, everything from a presidential snack to a state dinner is used for diplomacy.
For power projection, for communication. It is the ultimate multi-layered operation. They aren't just, cooking dinner.
No.
They're feeding the first family, hundreds of staff members every day, handling all the logistics for official guests, and then on top of all that, they're executing these massive, highly scrutinized state dinners. And this has been going on since, 1800? It's almost as old as the building.
So let's trace that a little bit, because it wasn't always this huge, high-stakes operation.
No, not at all. It was very simple at first.
The big shift, it seems, starts with Thomas Jefferson. He was the one who was really taken with French cuisine, right? He brought that kind of flair back with him.
He did. But the real transformation, the thing that made it what it is today, that happens in the 20th century, that's when it becomes a truly, institutional state kitchen.
And institutionalization, that means? Wow.
A professional staff.
It means a serious professional hierarchy. You move away from just having ad hoc staff. At the top, you have the executive chef.
A role so important that some of our sources use this term, baş aşçı. What does that mean exactly? It's basically Turkish for chief cook or master chef of the state. And it's used because it signals that this person isn't just a cook. They're an administrator, they're a diplomat, they're a security asset.
So this executive chef is overseeing sous chefs, a pastry team.
And all the logistics. Procurement, and sometimes even separate specialized teams. One for the daily meals and a whole other unit just for those big state dinners. It's less like a restaurant kitchen and more like a disciplined internal cabinet.
Which brings us right back to your idea of the state intelligence organism. If the food is diplomacy, then the kitchen staff, they're the silent diplomats.
Exactly. The whole point of the food service at its deepest level is about control and continuity. It shows stability.
So when a foreign leader visits, the menu it's all part of the message. It can show power
or humility. Deliberate simplicity. It is all calculated.
Okay, so if the food is statecraft, then the menu can't just be, random. It can't be based on what the chef feels like cooking that day.
Absolutely not. That idea is a complete fantasy. Before anything hits a plate, it has to pass through several extremely strict, non-negotiable filters.
Let's unpack those. The first one, and maybe the most famous one, is presidential personal preference.
Right. And this is where you see the absolute power of the president's dislikes.
The broccoli story.
The George H.W. Bush broccoli story. His hatred of broccoli was so intense, so well documented, that the vegetable was just banned. It was effectively banned from the White House kitchen while he was there.
Think about that. The personal taste of one person dictates the entire supply chain of a national institution.
It's a clear, if maybe funny, statement about his power. He had total control over his immediate environment.
Okay, so that's the first filter. What's the second? This one seems a bit more serious.
It is. It's health and medical reports.
Yeah.
This is the clinical side. We're talking cholesterol, blood pressure, allergies, weight management. The kitchen basically has to act as part of the president's medical team.
We saw this really clearly during the Obama administration, right, with the First Lady's Garden Project.
Yes, a huge emphasis on whole grains, fresh vegetables from the garden, very low sugar. The food was meant to project this image of, American health and fitness.
But the sources do point out a sharp contrast.
A very sharp contrast. During the Trump administration, that particular health filter was, it was frequently ignored. When Big Macs are the preferred meal, it's a very conscious rejection of that institutional dietary control.
Which takes us to the third filter, and this one feels like the most complex diplomatic messaging.
This is where the menu becomes that political cipher we were talking about. When you're hosting a foreign leader, you have to show respect for their culture.
But, and this is a crucial point, it's never entirely the guest's own cuisine.
It can't be. That would be seen as almost subservient, like you're erasing your own identity at the table.
So if you're hosting, say, the leader of Italy, you might serve pasta.
But you make sure the tomatoes are American heirloom tomatoes. The beef is from an American farm. The message, the subtext is always, we see you, we respect your heritage, But this is our table. This is America.
It's a blend, but on American terms.
Exactly. Which leads right into the fourth and final filter, American identity and seasonality.
The whole farm-to-table idea.
It's not just a trend there. It's practically mandatory. It's about supporting American agriculture. And most symbolically, it's about using vegetables grown right there on the White House grounds in the garden.
So those filters kind of manage the big theatrical moments, the state dinners. But what about the day-to-day? What does the president actually eat when no one's watching?
Yeah, the reality is it's usually very simple. It's repetitive. It's completely predictable.
Not the opulence you'd imagine.
No, it's the triumph of control over creativity. Most presidents have very rigid routines. A simple breakfast, a quick lunch they might eat at their desk, and a very measured dinner. The pageantry, all that effort, is saved for the guests.
So you have this huge contrast. On one hand, a state dinner that's been planned for months, rehearsed, cooked in a test kitchen over and over.
And all that effort and expense is directed outward, at the guest. The president, the very next day, might just eat a simple piece of salmon.
It's a clear division. And the sources have a specific name for this, right? The Havas-Avam separation.
They do. It sounds technical, but it just refers to a functional hierarchy. Havas is, the elite or private dining.
Yeah.
The president, the family, top guests.
And Avam is the common dining, the staff.
Exactly. The staff meals are canteen style, practical. Chicken, pasta, soup, salad. It's about fueling the machine. The president's meals, though, they come from that same kitchen, maybe even from the same ingredients.
But with completely different plating, different preparation, a whole other level of presentation.
To meet those other filters we talked about, the medical, the diplomatic, there's a great analogy for it in the source material.
Oh, yeah.
The same cauldron boils, but the same ladle doesn't enter.
That's perfect. It captures that functional divide completely.
It does. It's one team making two totally different products for two totally different reasons.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. If the daily diet is so controlled, the one place you see the real person shine through is in their cravings.
Yes. These incredibly powerful people, with access to literally anything, often just want comfort food.
Let's run through some of them. Thomas Jefferson. He's the obvious starting point, the gourmet.
A true gastronomic diplomat. He's the one credited with introducing pasta and ice cream to America. His kitchen was a statement about sophistication.
And then you can jump all the way to, say, Abraham Lincoln, who was the complete opposite. Didn't care about food at all.
Not in the slightest.
Well.
Lived on apples, milk, simple soups. For him, food was just fuel.
And then you have these moments where the food becomes a real public statement. Like we said, George H.W. Bush and the broccoli ban, that was a statement of personal authority.
He didn't just dislike it. He made it law in his house. A tangible example of executive control.
And that rejection of the institutional norm, it probably reaches its absolute peak with Donald Trump, the fast food king.
It's profoundly symbolic. He's the only president noted for regularly ordering takeout. He had a world-class kitchen at his disposal, and he chose to bypass it.
It's a statement that he's unbound by the establishment's traditions.
It's the ultimate rejection of the kitchen's institutional control. He had the power not just to pick the menu, but to reject the service itself.
On the other side of that, you have someone like Bill Clinton.
Right, who started out loving fast food, but then after a health scare, completely transforms his diet. Goes nearly vegan.
So his food journey becomes a public story about his personal transformation.
And you see it with Barack Obama, too. His love for chili, the focus on vegetables, it all tied directly back to that very visible symbol of the White House garden. It connected his family's image to health, to sustainability.
Even Joe Biden, with his love of ice cream, it gives him that relatable kind of grandfatherly image.
Every choice sends a message.
So if we put all of this together, the filters, the hierarchy, the personal cravings, what is the ultimate purpose here? We've established it's not a luxury restaurant, so what is it?
I think its ultimate purpose is, well, it's function over form. The kitchen exists for three things and three things only: control, representation, and continuity.
Every plate is a political act.
Exactly. It's the steady hand of the executive branch, just using food as its language. The table is the stable foundation, while the politics are always shifting around it. It's the anchor.
It sends this powerful message that goes beyond any one president.
The message is, this state is permanent. Presidents pass. But the kitchen, the structure, the control, the diplomacy, that remains.
And as we've seen, something as small as a personal dislike for broccoli can dictate the entire logistics of a federal institution for years, which leaves a really interesting thought for you to explore. What other seemingly trivial personal quirks of a president, maybe a preferred brand of coffee, or a strange way of arranging furniture, an unusual schedule, what other little things might be secretly influencing major global diplomatic events?
What tiny, seemingly minor rule could actually be hiding a huge strategic message about the power dynamics at play?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.